The Sun and Jupiter have some traits in common. Jupiter is optimistic and inspired. Both celestial bodies are large, bright, and felt more strongly in a chart of someone born during the day, but they also have their fair share of differences. Jupiter is a bright, wandering star, and so it's considered a benefic, also bestowing blessings on us like Venus. Unlike the blessings that satisfy the senses and material, Jupiter offers more intellectual and spiritual fulfillment. It grows things to a larger scale, enabling planets it interacts with, expanding topics of the houses it falls in, and adding a somewhat more optimistic light. It symbolizes philosophy and religion, as these expand our minds. Jupiter also shows travel since this expands our physical horizons and exposes us to the world and a larger picture. It's law and order in a sense of upholding values and striving for fairness, but it isn't the harsh judgment passed in the end. The planet pushes boundaries and limits as it's all about growth. It is where one may find faith, hopes, and dreams. It is also where a grandiose outlook can lead someone astray. Not all things are meant to be limitless, and so the expansion pairs poorly with certain aspects to certain planets, stimulating overindulgences and even extremes. The Sun is a steadfast luminary that, for most parts of the world, we can count on its return every day. Though it illuminates, it doesn't expand. It only shows us what was already there. It's the career and sense of identity or calling in life. It is at times similar to Jupiter, but it is more so the spark and vitality to reach for higher goals, while Jupiter is the journey to those goals and what we learned along the way. When the Sun and Jupiter aspect each other between two birth charts, there's an eagerness for life that the couple may ignite in one another. Jupiter can tap into the Sun's goals and encourage it along its path. In the best combinations, the moral support given allows the Sun to maybe feel that they can achieve anything. The problem arises from too much support even when the Sun goes too far, hurting themselves or others. Jupiter may not recognize when enough is enough and keep pushing the Sun forward, enabling its ego and hubris with blind faith. When the two come together by conjunction, Jupiter expands all topics that are linked to Leo in the person's chart and the topics of the sign that the Sun falls in. It stimulates the drive for the Sun person to be seen, forge a career, or to better understand their ego. There can be a touch of spiritual or religious that the Jupiter person inspires in the Sun. As the wise sage, perhaps they encourage the Sun to return to school or to seek out other wisdom. They teach the Sun whether they know it or not. At the very least, they still fill the Sun person with a desire to do more for their calling in life. The Jupiter person sees the Sun as someone to teach, but also to learn from, especially if Jupiter is open-minded and feels that every experience is a learning opportunity. The Sun points a spotlight on their areas of life that involve Pisces and Sagittarius in their chart. The Sun may remind them that they want to travel or learn a new language. The Jupiter person may consider teaching and lecturing as they hadn't before. For a romantic couple with this synastry, life is an adventure full of wonder. They can spend dates musing about all of these topics for hours, and also exploring new foods, new places, and meeting new people together. A dash of encouragement in a relationship goes a long way to holding the two together, and softens some harsher aspects that the two may experience. When the Sun and Jupiter meet by sextile, there is still that feeling of the conjunction, but it takes more effort to arrive there. Over time, the couple finds themselves becoming more encouraging with each other. It is a steady ambition that begins to manifest in the Sun and a steady growing desire to learn, while Jupiter gradually understands how to help the Sun get there. Again, Jupiter finds its philosophical passions, but slower. With the trine, this energy is so easy that it can go unnoticed. It's more about the shared intellectual and philosophical ideas and less about the action. The two can talk and dream together, but without other synastry or more disciplined birth chart aspects, the two are not likely to create the dreams that they come up with. It is still very helpful in opening each other's minds and softening some of the couple's harsh aspects, so it is a great aspect to see. The opposition is more tense than the trine, and like the conjunction, it can stimulate action, but more so from an opposite viewpoint. The two may hold very different views, but because the Sun and Jupiter can mesh well as two planets, they potentially find their common ground and overcome these opposite ideas. Perhaps there are similar values behind them that the two can respect, even if there is a different approach. Because the harsh aspects harness Jupiter's tendency to expand without discrimination, it is also possible that the two agree so much that Jupiter allows the Sun to feel that they can get what they want at any cost because it is what they deserve. Jupiter may be slow to realize that the Sun has intentions that may not be pure, enabling them after offenses have been made and others have told Jupiter that the Sun is no good. Maybe the Sun feels unable to stop for some reason when Jupiter is around. But the square is where we can really see the danger of a Sun-Jupiter combination in synastry. The hard aspect allows even more enabling and encouragement, even beyond what is appropriate or helpful. Depending on other synastry, this can become really hard on both, as the Sun feels they can't stop moving forward and Jupiter feels they can't stop encouraging it. The morality can become a little skewed in the worst case scenarios. A more physical example could be a couple that spends too much time together and drinks too much or eats too much. Overindulgences in general. The best manifestation of this harsh aspect would result in the Sun and Jupiter pushing each other to become better, but understanding that everyone has limits and needs boundaries. Some healthy Saturn synastry here goes a long way. The inconjunction may be one of the least perceptible aspects, as there is a slight discomfort between one's ego and the other's beliefs, but Jupiter is a good planet to see things from another point of view. It could also take a lot of hard synastry outside this one aspect to really hurt the relationship. In charts of people born during the day, the Sun and Jupiter synastry can be used in a more constructive way overall. You may see a lot less troubles, and rest assured that this combination will, at the very least, bring important lessons along with it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Stay tuned for more bite-sized astrology, and as always, thank you so much for watching.